There's no surer sign than something is a scam than when global elites present to you an issue that has to be solved by the entire globe. No surer sign of scam. And in Canada, we have bought in hook, line, and sinker to the global climate scam, which is destroying our economy. Yesterday, Elizabeth May, Green Party drunk. You should see there's footage of her all over the place, drunk, yelling about terrorists, how she loves them. It's disgusting. Elizabeth May said that she voted for the Liberal budget, which passed 170 to 168, ups Canada's deficit to $78.3 billion. She voted for it to save the planet. I kid you not. I don't think there's anybody more self-important, anybody more reverential to themselves than these green freaks who think that in a country that emits between 1.5% and 2% of all global emissions, that their carbon tax and keeping carbon tabs on all Canadian citizens are in some way saving the planet. I don't think I've ever seen a narcissism so extreme. But this dysgenic drunk woman gets up there and says that she was proud to pass the budget so that we can save the planet. Elizabeth May, do you have anything to say to the 4 million people in Canada who are using food banks on a regular basis, a record high, because of our green initiatives in the economy that do not allow Canada to take advantage of its oil, of its gas, of its LNG, of energy exports that other countries are literally begging us to send them, but we're refusing to do so because they are not green enough, aka because Mark Carney and his buddies at Brookfield Asset Management cannot profit off of it. Mark Carney's budget continues to plan our major infrastructure projects around hitting the climate Paris Agreement targets that we had set out. How is there not a revolution in this goddamn country? Our economy, our unemployment rate among males, after 10 years of basing our economy around so-called green initiatives, 22%. Real unemployment rate above 10% in Canada. Our economy, when you combine the mass immigration, the 3% of our entire population coming in every single year, an unprecedented number of people, along with the fact that we handicap ourselves by saying we're not going to export LNG, we're not going to export oil because it's not green. These ways of centrally setting up the Canadian economy have intentionally handicapped what could have been one of the strongest economies in the world. We have the second largest land mass in the entire world. Incredible natural resources that people are begging for. How is it possible in Canada that we have a 22% youth male unemployment rate? How is that even possible? The answer is because they're letting 1.5 million people into the country. New studies have just come out revealing that a huge percentage of immigrants who leave are the so-called high-skilled immigrants. The low-skilled immigrants stay in Canada, don't leave. If you live in Canada and you see this on a day-to-day basis, it's obvious. There's that we've imported 1 billion Uber drivers. I'm sure young Canadians really appreciate the fact that you've imported millions of Tim Hortons, Wendy's, and fast food drivers at a time when youth male unemployment is at 22%. Well, PhDs are more than 2 times more likely to leave Canada because they see the direction this country is going. You watch people have come from communist countries who have come from Venezuela, and they will tell you definitively that that's the direction that we are heading in. And I don't see anybody making a peep. Mark Carney is still allowed to go out on that podium. Elizabeth May is allowed to cluck away about how they're saving the planet and these green initiatives are meant to. Does anybody push back on this garbage at all? This insane garbage? It's not settled science. It's becoming more and more popular. People are saying climate change is a total hoax, a total joke. We need CO2. This is actually all about control. No matter how much she may clucks. Carney, well, he's not going to speak very quickly in any case. The dead-eyed bug can go on and on. It's really about control. It's about controlling the Canadian citizens. What they want to do is, I guarantee you, before the year 2030, you will see from the Liberal Party of Canada, you're already seeing the starts of a so-called digital ID. Is going to be digital IDs, central digital banking currencies, in which you will have a certain allotment, a certain amount of carbon that you as a human being are allowed to emit. And if you go over that when you swipe your card, you will not be allowed to buy meat. You will not be allowed to fill up your car. You're seeing the totalitarian takeover all over the place. They want to be able to arrest you if you say the wrong thing, if you criticize immigration, if you criticize climate. They want to be able to literally lock you up. They look into Bill C3, Bill C8, Bill C9. It's the end of free speech in Canada. This is with a pretty little veneer on it. This is tyrannical. There's no other way to define what's going on in this country. They want to control everything. It's always been known throughout history. Good government keeps you safe and stays out of your life. That's the exact opposite of what the communists want. They want to be involved in everything. They don't want you to be able to do anything without them being aware of it, them being in the loop, how much carbon you're emitting. None of your fucking business, motherfucker. We are free Canadian citizens. Our ancestors fought and died for freedom, for our own freedom. I don't need these government bureaucrat cretins keeping track of how much carbon you've emitted. Are you allowed to say that? Are you allowed to say this? Get the fuck out of here. And I think that I speak for a large number of Canadians when I say we are sick of this incestuous government that wants total control over everything. Your job is to keep us safe, which you're doing an absolutely terrible job of. We've allowed at least 18,000 convicted criminals into this country in the past 5 years alone. Oh, I'm sure they're not in Mark Carney's neighborhood. Hate mobs all over our streets all the time. Being told that we need to focus our economy, despite the fact we have one of the weakest economies in the G7, despite the fact we have incredible opportunity to be one of the strongest. We need to focus on green issues, and then now the government is going to track what we eat. Oh, may I have another shirt? Govern me harder, Daddy. Who are these Canadians who want more and more government oversight? It's disgusting. It's ridiculous. And the Canadian population needs to stand up now, write your MPs and say, fuck off. Please like, share, subscribe, join, become a member, donate, grab some gear. Really appreciate everybody's support, and more information is going to be coming on the Fight for Canada party soon.